Denial is a powerful thing. You know what? I was just on my way to work right now, and I was just thinking about denial. Many people are in denial of many things, especially relationships. Uh, Women, if you see a man with another woman and that's your significant other, and y'all at a movie theater, or they're at a movie theater, or you know what I mean, or look like they're dating, don't be in denial. Stop being in denial of that. Stop, coming in catching your significant other. I'm talking about men and women, so I'm not just saying, oh, women do this or men do that. I'm talking about men and women. Don't be in denial. You see your significant other on top of some woman and getting off, and he's talking about, or she's talking about, either one talking about, it ain't what it looked like. Stop being in denial. Stop questioning yourself. Stop even, why would you even argue about the whole thing? About, I just caught you, I just saw you. Or they're in a room together half naked and coming out and running out and all that other stuff. Why are you in denial? Stop being in denial. I remember a long time ago, I was in denial. I was in this relationship for 2 years. Man, that 2 year relationship taught me. Why am I being so loud, right? That 2 year relationship taught me, everything I practically needed to know about a relationship. Learn from your relationships. Stop being in denial. Stop being in denial of everything and anything. Denial is the thing that will do you in. Denial is what will get you in trouble. You will sit here and, I don't mean to be gross, but you'll be seeing a person pulling out of somebody and they'll be like, we weren't, it don't mean nothing to me. To lessen whatever that thing is, whatever they got caught in, they try to lessen the value of it. They try to make it seem like it's not valued, or it's not real, or it's not what, it's not emotionally attached. They try to do everything to make it seem like it's so different from your relationship. And don't live in denial. I mean, this is, I'm making this video because I know some folks out there that's in denial of relationships, in denial of a lot of things, and we have to pull up out of that. We have to stop doubting ourselves. We have to stop second guessing ourselves, questioning ourselves. When you see it in plain sight, right in front of you, when you see something happening that shouldn't be happening, and then you try to make sense of it by downplaying it, to make yourself feel better, or to keep that relationship, or keep that whatever it is, or keep that vibe that's going, or rhythm, or whatever it is that you're involved in. Stop living in denial. Denial is what puts us in trouble. I was just thinking about that. It's like people, they know the truth, but they just sit there and be in denial of it. Be in denial that they did something wrong. Be in denial that they're, were at that moment was a bad person at that moment, or they're living in denial that they were a bad worker. I know I always go back on work, but that they did something wrong with their work because it was questioned, and you did something wrong. I'm not talking about making a mistake. I'm just talking about making a choice that wasn't a good choice. Whether it is, how some people do shortcut work, or some people don't sign off on what they're supposed to, or they sign off on what they wasn't supposed to, things of that nature. Don't be in denial that, hey, I did that one thing. I'm still, 100%. Well, if you're in denial of stuff that you, and you have to question it, or you have to second guess it, or it makes you feel a certain way, then it's something wrong. It's not something that's right. So you have to stop living in denial. Denial would do you in. And specifically, I was brought this up because of relationships. Because people are out here living in denial of someone they think is in love with them, or someone they think that they're the only ones. Sorry about that. They think they're the only ones, or that they think that, that it's not what it seems, that there's nobody else involved, and they're in denial. This person got somebody pregnant, and it's like you have the evidence. Oh, that's not his baby. Oh, I don't think they was messing around. I think she's just trying to say it's his, and or that's my baby. That ain't nobody else's baby. You know what I mean? It's like, stop living in denial. Stop thinking that, that if you say it isn't so, it isn't so. If you sit there and wish it away 3 times, it's going to go away. And it's not. And people do that. I even, heard someone say something about, oh, that person doesn't like me. Oh, that's why I didn't get that. That's why I didn't do that. Or that's why we didn't do that. And no, it wasn't that. Stop being in denial. It's not that the person didn't like you. And in fact, sometimes, how some people blame stuff on other people, that it's like it's because of them why they didn't get something. And so the denial is, it's not that I'm a bad worker or I'm a bad person or that I suck at something. It's that person over there stopped me. And that's the denial of, you're not putting your 100% being the person you can be, because it wasn't good enough for whatever it was. It wasn't good enough for either that person, or good enough for the group, or good enough for the company. It just wasn't good enough. Stop being in denial. Stop being in denial that you are at 100%. We all can always use improvement. We all can always use changes, because we think our way is the best way. Stop being in denial that your way is the only way or the best way. That's what does us in every time. And I don't know how many times I have to say that. I remember I was in a relationship for 2 years. She was a woman, because she was over 18. She was cheating on me. And I was in denial of it, because I was sitting there thinking, oh no, that's, because we were young at the time. And I'm like, we could have friends of the opposite sex. That's what I thought. That's a different story, different topic. But anyway, I was like, yeah, they're just friends. We're all just friends. And no, there's nothing going on there. I mean, every time they're in front of me, it's like normal, and, da-da-da. And I remember, let me tell you about this one time where, my stepmom, I was staying with my stepmom. It was when my dad and her were married, and we were staying there. And so this girlfriend, she needed a place to stay. So she ended up, well, I don't want to go. I don't even have to talk about that part. But anyway, well, yeah, I do. She needed a place to stay because at that particular moment in time, she got kicked out of the house, right? So she was staying there. Then I remember someone was coming to pick her up, and it was a male, right? Some dude that was supposed to be her friend. So then as she was going to the car, my stepmother was looking out the window, peeping them going out to the car, because she had her suspicions, because my stepmother was like, no, if this a dude friend, and that ain't no friend, because she was old school, way old school, right? So then she was like peeping what they were doing, going out to the car. And then so she came back to me and she goes, you know what? She goes, I don't think that's, oh, sorry. People are being people. So she was like, I don't think that's her friend. And then I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, well, let me tell you, E. She was like, friends don't hold doors for people, for other friends. Friends don't hold the door open for other friends. I was like, well, if he's a gentleman, no. She was like, no. He wasn't being no gentleman. She said, friends don't open the doors for friends like that. And she said, so she kind of was like, getting a little frustrated. And then she said, you know what? She said, I don't mean any harm or whatever. She said, but you have to let her know she has to go. Because she said, and the old term was bumping your head, bumping a fool's head, bumping your head. She was like, she's not going to bump my head, because I'm not going to let someone stay here who has no good intentions for you. She's got to go. And so I was like kind of mad and upset. And in my mind, I was like, no, she's just upset and jealous and mad and all that, all that kid stuff. And then so she ended up having to go. And of course, yeah, who that person was holding the door, who was holding the door for her, did want a relationship with her, was a guy that they might have been messing around with, that she might have been messing around with. So, wow. So I'm in Chicago and it's raining. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. It's flooding. It was just a rain earlier. This area has never flooded. And then somebody's about to try to come through here. I just wouldn't chance it. That's just me. Me and these other cars. But anyway, yeah, so, so she ended up getting kicked out of the house and having to go live somewhere else. And then some time had passed. Oh, that was low air. So some time had passed to where other things were happening, and I was in denial. At that moment, I was in denial. And like I said, I learned from that relationship. I learned to see the signs because that was really my first real relationship. I had, like, you know how when you're younger, you have these little girlfriends and some of you girls with boyfriends that are in grammar school, and y'all like 7, 8 years old, and y'all not kissing or nothing like that. Y'all just call each other the boyfriend, the girlfriend, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, man, just more flooding, a lot of flooding, a lot of slowing us down too. It's not good. I don't like going through this stuff real slow like this. I like to kind of, have the waters pass by fast to get through. But luckily that wasn't that deep. So yeah, anyway, yeah, we are having a time now. I didn't even know it was this bad out here. But anyway, so when you're in these relationships, you know, these denials that you're having, you have to dig out of that. Like I said, I was in denial she was messing around on me with this dude, or that she even had any intentions, any romantic intentions with this dude. I was like, somebody was just like walking real slow across the street. I didn't know, but right now on this side of town where I'm at, I'm in Chicago. I'm having a tripped out time. If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. And that's the ghost. If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. What did it say? If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. That's good. Bro, have diseases called look, Landon, talk to yo, Void. Somebody named Void. Yeah, so yeah, it's too many diseases out here to be playing games, playing games with people, especially if somebody can't keep it in their pants or keep their pants closed. It's too much going on, especially with all the new stuff too, like monkeypox and these different variances of COVID, things of that nature. It's just so much going on. But anyway, so my thing is, let's stay out of denial. When I was also in that relationship, like I said, I was in denial that there was some romantic intentions with this girl and other people. And my take on it was she wanted to go out there and mess around and come back home to me. Yeah, bringing it back home to me, bringing the residues and diseases back home to me. And so, and not only that, but it's like you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to have that. Back in the day, they used to call it. You want your. Well, it's a little different. I was gonna say the penis in the jar, but the penis in the jar is actually probably was dude. He was the penis in the jar. Well, no, I take that back. Usually the penis in the jar is the one you want to keep on the side. Like, say you like, she did want to keep me as the penis in the jar after we broke up. She thought we was gonna be friends and hang out and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, no, because you think if it don't go right wherever you go to, you think you gonna come back to me. Because she knew I was a good dude. She knew, I was I was like the baby's daddy, the wannabe baby daddy, baby husband, the baby daddy, the husband. She wanted me to be that guy because she knew I was a good dude, that I do the responsible things. And all these other guys, they just want to kick it. And so she thought she could kick it and then at the same time come back home to me. And I was like, no, we ain't finna do that. And anyway, so like I said, being in denial will do you in. That whole time I was miserably in denial. I was sitting there thinking, no, I'm the only one. I'm the special one. I'm the one. And I probably was in that aspect, but not in the aspect of the sex, the messing around. She wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Don't get me wrong. I was no pushover, because people are like, well, if it was all that great, she wouldn't have been going out doing this. No, it's not so much that. Some people, they want variety. They want a change up. They want smaller. They want bigger. They want this. They want that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, a change up, or they might want a variety of different dudes, different girls. You come on, y'all, don't play. Y'all playing. So that's how it is. These people go out here and they want what they want, and if they like something that they see that's a little different, they like, hey, I want to try that. It's like having a new bike, whatever. Some people are not satisfied with their old bike or their old whatever, and they see something shiny and new, and they like, oh, I want that, or I want to try to ride that, or I want to try to no pun intended, but I want to try to try try to see how that's working. So some people, I like that. Some people, that's their thing. And it's just, that wasn't just one of my things. I wasn't trying to, go everywhere around the block and all this stuff. And anyway, speaking of which, remember, well, you don't remember, but back in those days, because I'm from back in the day, the old school, HIV was the big thing. AIDS was the big thing. That was the big, huge thing. So, you didn't want to be involved in that mess, So I got to kind of punch in. I don't mind people knowing where I work, but, I just don't advertise it. You know what I'm saying? I don't make a big issue out of it, big, thing. But anyway, so the thing is, you want to not be in denial so you could dig up out of whatever it is that you're involved in. Because when you're in denial, that's when the cookie crumbles. That's when all heck breaks loose. That's when you get caught up. That's when you catch diseases, where you get sick, where you can be unalived, all that stuff. Because then what if they get with some crazy person who is a jealous person? They jealous of you, and you the original, the boyfriend, girlfriend, you the original, and they mad at you because they want this person or can't have them, or it was that good to them and they don't want to let it go. I mean, you got some really cray out here, right? So you don't want to be caught up in those type of webs. You don't want to be caught up, and they be like, well, nobody told me about you. I thought I was the only one, because they'll go out there and say they ain't involved with nobody because they not married. And some people married would go out there and claim they not involved with somebody and got married with kids, have a whole nother life. But if you're single, it's easier to get away with that because of the fact of you're single. You're not committed to anyone that far as, legally, and you may not have kids with other people. So you going around, claiming that you single, and you're not. And then, like I said, your significant other will be like trying to do that dance the beat down. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here and talk about about dealing with other folks, dealing with there's a lot of leakage going on here. And I'm on the 4th floor. Anyway, when you have to deal with a lot of denial, and then it gets you in trouble in all kind of ways. So, I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk about it a little bit. But I want to thank y'all. Subscribe and like if you haven't, but subscribe. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for tuning in, though. All right, peace.